We're dishing out some Big Apple love. And does your team need a quarterback in the 2023 NFL Draft? Oh, and some either-ors are right here on Locked On NFL Draft. Let's go.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I couldn't have said it any better. You are on our team. And our team, the three of us, three best friends that anyone could have. And one of those is in an airport. And that's Eric Crocker. He's in Denver hanging out there. My man Ryan Tracy is hanging out there. Ryan from Rogue Analytics, former NFL, AFL defensive back Eric Crocker. And I'm John Harris. I am in my nice little studio here. I got it nice. I mean, I finally got back from Las Vegas. I am no longer in a hotel like I was earlier in the week. And Eric will be home soon, and so we'll all be back in our home studios. But we appreciate you making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And typically on Locked On NFL Draft, we're dissecting, we're breaking down. Today we're going to bring some love for the Big Apple. I don't know what the Jets and Giants, there's so many things that the Jets and Giants have done to get ready for this 2022 season. The Giants went on, got Brian Daboll. Before that, or I guess maybe at the same time, they got Joe Shane as GM. They decided they were going to stick with Daniel Jones. So talk about that. Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas got together in New York last year in 2021. Drafted Zach Wilson, drafted Elijah Vera Tucker, who unfortunately is going to miss some time due to injury. They drafted this year Breece Hall after they drafted Sauce Gardner. Eric Crocker, we got a lot of love for the Big Apple, Jets and Giants. And we'll start with the Giants. How much has Daniel Jones' success? And look, it's not as if he's throwing for 404 touchdowns. He's not Patrick Mahomes in 2018. But Daniel Jones has gotten the Giants to a 6-1 record. He's making plays with both his arm and his legs. They are 6-1, so they're not going to be seemingly drafting in the top 5 unless the bottom falls out. And I don't see that happening with the way they're playing. Did you have a quarterback in mind for the Giants, thinking of how things were going to go? And how has Jones' performance maybe changed what they'll do and what you think they'll do?
Man, I just want to continue watching him and seeing how he grows in this offense with Brian Daboll. I mean, what a difference good coaching makes. And we know that, but this is a guy who the team said, you know what, after this year, we don't really think we want you anymore. So we're not going to pick up your fifth-year option. He's playing, I don't want to say with house money, but say, hey, new situation, new coaching staff. I'm going to put my best foot forward and see what I can do. He has been dynamic, and not just in the passing game where it's not the explosive passing numbers, just over 200 yards in the last game, but he's taking care of the ball. And then when he's not there throwing the ball, he's utilizing his legs. Look, we got Brian Daboll here, and we watched him over in Buffalo. How many times did they run the ball a game, right? Not very much. They didn't really have much of a run game. Matter of fact, I can go back to one game last year where nobody ran the ball outside of their quarterback for an entire half. Yep. That is ridiculous. But when you look at Daniel Jones and what he's been able to do, we're talking about a guy who just yesterday ran for over 100 yards and a touchdown. So I think he's been tremendous, whether he's using his legs, using his arm, and he's doing just enough. Now, it's not all on him. They've done a really good job of, okay, we got this running back as well, Saquon Barkley. There's been a huge resurgence in how he's doing. And again, go back to Daboll and Buffalo. Does he really want to run the ball? Well, clearly he does. When you look at Saquon Barkley Sunday, have 24 carries. So he's doing a good job of staying healthy, running the rock. They're taking the pressure off of Daniel Jones. The defense is playing well enough, and they're rattling off wins right now.
I think one of the things that strikes me about the Giants in particular, Andrew Thomas had started to kind of evolve into a player in 2021. You could see the makings of it. But under Daboll and the coaching staff, he's really flourishing. Saquon Barkley had been a guy that couldn't really stay healthy. All the talent was there, but it wasn't flourishing because he just, it would be good for a little bit and then it would be okay for a little bit. Then he'd be injured. He's flourishing under Daboll. Daniel Jones is seemingly flourishing under Daboll. Kayvon Thibodeau is taking his game to a different level under Daboll and that coaching staff. It's been impressive to watch Ryan Tracy. There's no question. But On the other side of New Jersey or New York, depending on how you want to look at it, the Jets are doing similar things. And Zach Wilson, kind of similar to Daniel Jones, he's not throwing for 350 and 4 touchdowns every single week, but he's getting this team to wins. How important is that? And what's your belief in Zach Wilson going forward for the Jets?
Well, I think we all have to admit that Wilson's been shell-shocked since he came into the league, especially with this last injury. He's come back, 4 games in a row now, and he's kind of been up and down, and not a true game breaker. Breece Hall's emergence was actually really helping him stabilize, I felt, and look to the future as though, hey, this is where I am now. I can focus on Wilson. I have this brand new target I can work with. I think that was going to really help him come along. Was he overdrafted? We can have that discussion another day. Second round selection for second selection overall. But I think right now is the turning point. Can he turn this around? He has to take it back on his shoulders without this run game now. Now, I know there's other guys that can run the ball in New York, but it's not what Hall's been. So can he take that back on himself? Can they devise a few new things to optimize what he can do in his current state? I think Zach Wilson, this is a turning point for him right here the next 2 weeks, say.
Yeah, no doubt. And the first-round pick, the first of 3 first-round picks the Jets had, Eric Crocker, Sauce Gardner. I mean, I don't know how many times we talk Sauce or Sting, Sting or Sauce, and obviously I see Sting every single week. I got to admit, Sauce has been absolutely fantastic. What has worked for Sauce? What has made him the different player? I don't say different player, just a player that has gotten better every single year that he was playing football, and then it's gone to a different level now he's gotten in the NFL. What are your thoughts about what you've seen from Sauce in his early career?
Sauce Gardner has been tremendous. And anybody that has a name Sauce, you have to carry yourself with a certain level of swagger, and you got to back it up on the field. And I think he does that. He's earned the right to be called Sauce, even in the NFL. He's done a tremendous job. You look at last game, targeted three times, 0 receptions. He has been really more shut down than not. Again, now, all cornerbacks, there's going to be times where he's gotten beat. So, don't tag me and say, well, what about this play? Hey, that stuff happens. But overall, in the entirety of games right now, he is doing a tremendous job. And I can't wait to continue to see them add a little bit more to his play, add a little bit more responsibility to what it is that they want him to do. But right now, he is doing his job at an extremely high level.
Yeah, he's been just fantastic to watch. I got to admit. And I actually got a chance to meet and talk with Luke Fickell this summer, and we were talking about Sauce, and he said, look, Sauce does 3 things. He plays video games, he bowls, and he balls. That's it. He said, that's it. That's all he's concerned about. He's like, New York, New Jersey will have nothing on him because those are the only 3 things he cares about. He doesn't care about the nightlife or anything like that in New York. He cares about those 3 things. And I remember him telling me that, and that stuck in my head because you could see how that comes to fruition out on the field, like totally focused, completely on it all the time. And facing Cortland Sutton on Sunday, boy, he was not getting beat in that game. There's no doubt about that. Sauce Gardner has looked very, very good. The Jets and Giants, last few drafts, really coming to fruition. The 2 quarterbacks, maybe not all the way there, but you can see some of the makings of what they want to be going forward. Now, there is a team to me that is really interesting that could use a quarterback in 2023. I'll ask these guys about it next, but I got to talk to you about hiring people. If you got a small business, medium-sized business, whatever size business, and you need to hire people, your business is flourishing, and you go, man, I gotta hire people. Where do I go to do that? Some people are just completely lost. Well, we got your answer. LinkedIn Jobs. You want to be 100% certain that you've got access to the best qualified candidates available. All you have to do if you're looking for people to come work for you, add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Screening questions, like what do you ask these people? What do you want to know? Well, LinkedIn Jobs has a template for you to look at the screening questions so you can ask the right questions for you and your business to find the people with the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you want to interview and subsequently hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivery quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thanks for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Does your team need a quarterback in 2023? These guys are going to answer that question in 1 second, but I got to talk to you about. Well, I got on a plane. We were going to Chicago, take on the Chicago Bears, and our dress for the plane is business casual. And on the Thursday before we left, I got a box. And this box had a pair of pants and it had shorts. And the shorts on the inside had this liner. And I was like, man, what is this? And the pants, I'm like, these pants are awesome. Let me tried them on, walked around. I was like, man, I'm taking these on the flight. I get on the flight. And everybody's asking me, John, where'd you get those pants? I'm like, man, Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs hooked me up. The most comfortable pants you're going to wear anywhere. And shorts, khaki-type pants, a little stretchy. They got some give in them. And for a big guy like me, big thighs, big butt, I need a little bit of that. But how about the fact that Bird Dogs just launched sweatpants? Are you kidding me? Sweatpants? I'm absolutely getting those. There's no doubt. Super comfortable, Charmin soft. Bird Dog pants are perfect for fall golf. May not be able to play in sweatpants, but you got joggers, you've got pants, liner pants. So when it gets a little bit cooler, you're taken care of. You got the liner in there. And look, if you're one of those guys that just, you don't care for the underwear, these are the shorts, pants, whatever that you have to wear right here. With your sweatpants, you want liners in them? Great. You want khakis with liners in them? You want shorts like I've got with liners in them? They're fantastic. You can wear them anywhere, anytime. Go to birddogs.com, enter promo code LOCKEDON, and they'll throw in a free Bird Dogs rope hat. That's birddogs.com, promo code LOCKEDON, and boom, a free Bird Dogs rope hat with your pair of Bird Dogs. The most comfortable shorts, pants, and sweatpants with built-in liners. You will not take these things off. I promise you. I got a couple people that are already asking about them, so birddogs.com and go get that free rope hat as well. All right, we have discussed this for the last few weeks. We're always thinking ahead. And, of course, does my team need a quarterback early in the 2023 NFL Draft? First, maybe second, is my team taking a look? Well, I've given these guys, I haven't told them which team. I just pick a team, and then I throw it at them because I want to get their visceral reaction to this. So, Ryan Tracy, I'm going to start with you. Do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft a quarterback high in the 2023 NFL Draft? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. You might get him to come back. He could retire and re-retire and unretire all one more time. I don't know if he's going to be married or not anymore, but it doesn't matter. He's got to be in the building at least a little bit because I don't think he wants to leave this game. And Tom Brady, he's had a rough season. I don't think he came back for this. So you have to go get a guy right now that if it all falls apart and the old man does get injured at some point, you have somebody that can learn from him. Who better to learn from in the history of this game? There's Joe Montana, there's Tom Brady. If you have a chance to bring in somebody that needs maybe a little mental polishing, maybe somebody that's got the physical tools that you like, but you want them to see things quicker. You want them to process things quicker. You want to get all the little hints. Maybe Levis in Tampa Bay looks pretty good learning behind Tom Brady, right? Get all that you can and try to transfer that knowledge down to your next era.
I like it.
I think they tried that, though, with Kyle Trask. And he was kind of viewed. I mean, remember where they took him? They took him in the second round.
They were wrong.
And yeah, they were wrong.
I mean, I had him in the fifth. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, but Eric's right. They did think about it, and it's not like the Patriots avoided quarterbacks the whole time Tom was there. I mean, they drafted Jacoby Brissett. I think Brissett was the second or third. Garoppolo was definitely a second because I know we had eyes on him here in Houston, and he was taken before we could get him at the top of the third round. So Jarrett Stidham, I think, was drafted maybe Brady's last year in New England. So I could see Tampa doing it. So the question below that, because we're locked on NFL Draft, so we asked this question second. Is Brady done? Eric Crocker, what you have seen this year, is he done? And we chuckle and laugh a little bit about the divorce situation, but I think that's a real factor. I think it's a real factor in his play. Maybe not whether he comes back or not next year, who knows? But Eric Crocker, from what you've seen from Tom Brady, are we finally ready to put him in his football grave? Yes or no?
You know, I always ask the question, at what point do you defeat Father Time? And I think Tom Brady, with everything that he's doing right now, he's definitely trying to defy all of those odds. I'd say right now, I don't think if he does retire, it won't be because of his play. Or maybe even what's going on at home. But he doesn't look like he's having fun. And you watch him, and he's upset, and he's yelling at the linemen, and he's getting in guys' face. And we know that he's always been this fiery guy, but just watching him in the way that he's carrying himself on the field, it almost feels like, I think it was 2019, that last year with the New England Patriots, where it's like, this isn't Tom Brady. This isn't the Brady that I know. And right now, I'm getting those same type of vibes in this year with Tampa Bay. It wasn't supposed to be like that when Bruce Arians handed the reins over to the new head coach. And right now, I think it hasn't gone according to plan. And then when you couple that with everything that's going on off the field, it's a tough situation for Tom Brady. I wish he would have retired last year, where I felt like, man, he was on top. He potentially could have been the NFL MVP, decided to come back, and now we're seeing a bad version. Not so much of him. Obviously, he contributes to that, but really just to what kind of the ending of his legacy.
Yeah, exactly. Not that he's a guy that has curried much favor with the general public lately, but Brett Favre, 2010 in Minnesota. It was miserable. I mean, he ended up getting his head slammed on the turf, I think week 11 or 12, and he just, like, I'm done. And it was an awful season. Drew Brees, his final season in New Orleans. Guys that have played so long. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger could barely throw a pumpkin, or his throws looked like he was throwing a pumpkin. At some point, you're right. Who has Father Time not beaten? I mean, Nolan Ryan, but even Nolan Ryan's like he's different from Tom Brady, but similar in the fact that you keep wondering, when is he ever going to die as a sports death? And he never did. But then in 1992, eventually the elbow and that was it. After all the working out he did and getting himself ready, he finally had a baseball death. And I think Tom Brady is maybe there now. Now, how much of that is the mental aspect, dealing with his family situation? Definitely something to think about. All right, these guys and mine. Well, it's my favorite segment. I think these guys like it. Either or on the other side. I've got a question about the class of 2024. We've talked about a couple of teams and their rookie classes. Which one would they pick? We'll have all that next on Locked On NFL Draft. But we got to talk to you about prizepicks.com. Daily fantasy made easy. Prize Picks is one of the most simple things that you can do. You're given a projection on a particular player. So let's take, I don't know, what's the Thursday night game coming up this week? Or actually, I'll tell you this. Thursday night game coming up in a couple weeks is Texans v. Eagles. I know that one because I'll be there calling the game. Jalen Hurts in that game. Rushing yards against the Texans. Prize Picks makes a projection of 75 yards, and they ask a simple question: more or less? Oh, I can handle that. Yeah, of course you can. That's how easy Prize Picks is. Daily fantasy made easy. So all you got to do is go to prizepicks.com and pick 2 to 5 players in any number of sports. I'm talking if you have somebody you know in esports. Now, I don't know many people in esports. You might, and that's cool. I want you to have whatever player you want, but 2 to 5 players. And if they go score more or less, depending on what you say, then their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money in any entry. So if you say Jalen Hurts is definitely going for over 75, he's more than 75, and he goes for 180, you win. It's that simple. You can win 10 times your money on any entries. The entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Now, download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. So that if you deposit 100, Prize Picks will give you 100. If you deposit 50, Prize Picks will give you 50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com, promo code Locked On. Ryan, Tracy, we're going to start with you. Now, we got to think ahead a little bit here, but I think we can, especially when it pertains to quarterbacks. Class of 2024, and you're in desperate need of a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes decides that he's had enough. He's going to go live in the Bahamas for the rest of his life. And the Kansas City Chiefs now need a quarterback in 2024. He wins you a ring before he leaves, though, so you can feel good about that. Okay. Are you taking either USC quarterback Caleb Williams or Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart?
See, you ping me in the heartstrings there because I am a Dart fan. I like the way he started. I like what we've been seeing him do. And I think the offense at Ole Miss is going to evolve around him as it goes forward. I know they're running a lot, and that's okay. I think he's got the capability between now and then to maybe make up the ground. But if the decision point is right now, we put it in a time capsule and that's what we do in 2 years, it's Caleb. It's really not that close at this point because of the command of the offense, because you can see him leaping into the NFL, and because he has all the tools that you need. I think you got to go that direction right now.
All right, Eric Crocker, watch how I change this one. Either or, class of 2024, Caleb Williams or Trey Lance for your 49ers?
I think if you ask some of my buddies that are quarterback guys, and I know you're asking me, but when I talk to them about this, they really like Caleb Williams. Yep. They talk about his natural throwing motion, his ability to make plays off script. He definitely has a really good arm. He's fitting throws into tight windows. So I love Trey Lance. I see the upside in him. I believe in him. I think he's going to be that guy. But I'm going to have to ride with my homies on this one and go with Caleb Williams.
Okay. So here's an either or that builds off of that. Ryan, we'll go back to you. Either Caleb Williams or any other quarterback in the 2023 draft class. Caleb Williams versus the field.
Versus the field. I don't know. I still have high expectations for both CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. So, given that kind of support and that they would be a year ahead of him, I'd have to lean towards Bryce right now. And I know everyone's like, oh, you had CJ up at the top of the list 2 weeks ago. Well, they get to flip around when I feel like it, and I felt like it. So that's what it is. Right now today, it's Bryce Young.
Eric Crocker, Caleb Williams, or any other quarterback in 2023. Caleb Williams versus the field. What say you?
I'm going to live in the moment and say Caleb Williams. And here's my reasoning why. Bryce Young, I think he's tremendous. I really like him as a prospect. The lack of size is just something that people are going to continue to point to. And I don't think he has the biggest arm. There was a throw he made, and it was a good hole shot. It was very accurate, but you could just see the ball float and float and float so long the receiver had to wait on it, and he ended up taking a shot. Now, they call it targeting on the DB, got him kicked out, so it worked in their favor, but it almost got his receiver's head taken off. You like to see him put a little bit more of a line on that. My guy calls it a 2-ball. So there's the 1-ball, which is a bullet. There's the 3-ball, which is the, if you're throwing a fade. And then there's the 2-ball. That's just a hard with an arc. All right. When you look at Caleb Williams, you don't have any of those concerns. Whether it's arm strength, you don't have concerns with his size, and he gives you that similar mobility as a Bryce Young. So I'm going to lean towards Caleb Williams on this one.
All right, very well done. We talked about these two teams. Which team, surprising team in the NFL, has had a better 2022 draft class? Either the New York Jets or the Seattle Super Seahawks. I want the Supersonics back so bad. The Jets or the Seahawks? Eric Crocker, you pick first. You going with, I know Breece Hall is hurt, but Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner, or Abe Lucas, Charles Cross, Tariq Woolen, Kenneth Walker out in Seattle. What say you, Eric Crocker?
I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks because when you hit on a young cornerback that has the ability to really take the ball away. And again, both of them hit on young cornerbacks, and you got Sauce Gardner. He's playing extremely well. But man, 4 interceptions this early in the year by Tariq Woolen, who, again, and I'm factoring in the value here as well because you got this guy late, like 5th round. So you didn't use a top 5 pick on him. You got him extremely late in this draft. Obviously, he has a ton of upside and potential. So, yeah, I've got to lean towards there just for hitting on that. And then, obviously, you follow back with what they have at the running back position. I think they're doing a tremendous job there as well with Kenneth Walker.
Jets or Seahawks, Ryan Tracy?
I really like the Seahawks class. I will tell you that. But it is a little bit more workmanlike. And I will tell you this, if there's one prospect out of all of them that is the number one, it is Sauce.
Yeah.
So in terms of upside, of top end, you got to give that to the Jets. I think there's more possibility for a nice even development because you got Johnson out there as well, so you can get a little rush. You're talking about Breece Hall. I'm going to imagine he's not hurt, but even if he comes back, less than 8 months from now, you're going to have another dynamic guy on offense, Wilson on offense. I think you get a little bit more balance there. So right now, I'm going to lean towards the Jets.
All right, last one. Sticking with quarterbacks. I like comparing different classes. Obviously, you can tell because I'm asking about Caleb Williams, Jackson Dart, etc. Ryan, I'll start with you. Either you get this quarterback for the next 10 years, factoring contracts, money, all that kind of stuff. Either Kenny Pickett or Will Levis. Kenny Pickett starting for the Steelers as a rookie, drafted in the first round this year. Will Levis projected to be a first-rounder in 2023 coming out of Kentucky. Former Penn State Nittany Lion who ended up at Kentucky and has done a nice job. We've talked about Will Levis a bunch on this show. Kenny Pickett or Will Levis? What say you, Ryan Tracy?
Now, who am I? Am I the coach that has to teach this guy, or am I the GM who has to find the coach to teach this guy?
You're the GM that has to do all of it.
Then I'm going to take talent. I'm going to take physicality. I'm going to take Will Levis, and I'm going to find the right coach that can coach him up and develop the mental side to get him to process faster and attack where the gaps actually are. That's what I'm going to do, because I think there's limitation compared between the two. So I'll lean Levis right now.
Eric Crocker, you thinking Kenny Pickett or Will Levis?
That's a good one. I want to lean towards Levis, but I think that's a little hindsight 2020 because I've already watched Kenny Pickett and I've seen him turn the ball over at an alarming rate. Will this continue? Can he work on that? Does he have other limitations? We talked about the small hands. Is that something that's going to pop it up and why we see these interceptions being thrown? With Will Levis, I still think there's a ton of upside. Getting him in the right offense, the right scheme, and we've seen him play that pro-style offense as well, turning his back to the quarterback, getting his head back around, making throws to all levels of the field. I think his biggest issue right now is just the consistency, but all the abilities there, I'm going to lean towards Will Levis.
Very well done. Gentlemen, it's a fun show. I like talking about some either-ors and talking about teams looking at quarterbacks and, of course, some Big Apple love as well. Appreciate you guys making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. Now check out Locked On Sports Today, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. It's Locked On Sports Today podcast, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. Gentlemen, it's been a blast as always. Eric, you get home safe. Ryan, we will see you later this week. And, well, I'll be right here in my home studio. So we'll have Locked On NFL Draft for you the rest of the week. And keep an eye on Friday Night Draft. We're going to have a fun one then. See you then, everybody. And as always, let's go.